Hey, everyone. How y'all doing tonight? So, I just first got to start off by saying, y'all, I recorded a whole video with no sound. So, here I am again, trying it again. See why I ain't ready to go live? Because, y'all, I am still trying to work through the kinks of this StreamYard. Shout out to all the content creators that got it together. Anywho, as you see on my thumbnail, we will be recapping SWV and Xscape, the Queens of R&B, and of course, this episode was called The Discord. Now, of course, before we get into everything, housekeeping rules, please go ahead and like that video. It is absolutely free. Hit that subscribe button if you have not already subscribed to the channel, and turn on your notification bells. I am still in corporate America, y'all, so I do my very best to upload videos. I'm going to try to do a little better and make scheduling of when I'm going to do it. Just know that normally if certain shows come out, review is coming soon after. So turn on your notification bells just so you'll be notified every time a video is actually uploaded. I promise you will not be disappointed. I try to bring transparent, try to be as transparent as possible. Also try to bring the realness, and I also like to have facts. So if you enjoy things to that nature, chopping it up, please go ahead and subscribe to the channel and become a part of the family so we can all speak on it together. So anywho, not gonna hold y'all. I have a lot of my faves content creators on here tonight, so I'm gonna go ahead and get this one done and out the way. But anywho, so we go ahead and get into the show, and we see where Taj and Tasha meet up in Nashville. Now, of course, we know that Tasha and Rocky was seen in the last episode where they met up with some members, or whomever there at Motown, because Tasha is interested in pursuing a solo career in the gospel sector, and so she's still there. So she meet up with Taj, what looks to be like a music museum. And when I tell y'all, this is the type of things that I like to see in reality shows, that exposes us, to maybe things that we didn't know that existed. Because when I tell you, I never knew they had such a thing in Nashville. So I'm definitely going to put that on my list of places that I would like to go, because it looked real nice. They go on to talk about, their love for music, who all, were very inspirational to them, in their careers. Taj went on to say that a lot of times when they were in Houston, they would meet up with Destiny's Child and they would kind of hang out. And as they were talking, they were kind of looking at, everyone that was on the wall. Of course, we saw Mary J. Blige. It was a lot of the favorites, NWA, and then they walk over and Taj actually pointed out, okay, well, y'all are displayed in here. Xscape is actually on the wall. And Tasha was like, I love to see this, because my grandchildren will be able to say my grandmother is displayed in the museum in Nashville. So she was very proud of, the accomplishments that she has made in her life thus far. Now they go ahead and they move on. And of course they start to talk and chop it up a little bit. And Tasha, pretty much lets Taj know that she's in Nashville because she met up with Motown. And she let her know that, pretty much she is thinking about pursuing her solo career. And, she was like, so what about the group? Now, also in the midst of that, Taj also kind of asked her about the last meetup that they had. And, she was like, so what's going on with you and Tamika? So, of course, Tasha goes on to say that Tamika body shamed her, or she felt that Tamika had body shamed her, that she made a little comment in reference to, Tasha clearly not having any behind. I'm going to say behind. And Taj looking like, okay. And so that would cause all of that, and she was like, also, I'm the older sister, and she disrespected, my mama, and we not gonna have that, and that's just not right. And so Taj kind of said in her confessional, she truly, truly believed that it's something more to what's going on, because she couldn't understand why Tasha would be acting such a way about something that is so minor. Now, I recently heard, allegedly, that the reason why Tamika was so upset that they did not broadcast, and I think they cut it out, was that it was a powing at the location where they were. And that's what she meant about she just left. She didn't check to see if I was okay. So it was more to it than the dressing room situation. It was a powing, and I guess Tamika felt as though Tasha, instead of her just leaving off with her entourage and going doing whatever, she didn't even stick around to be assured that her sister was okay. So I think that's where it all kind of made a big deal out of it. It wasn't so much as she left me and didn't check on me. It was she left her, and it was so much going on out there. So that's what they cut off, allegedly. Now, moving on to scene 2, we see where Coco meets up with her friend Tamaya and Troy. She said that they have been friends for a long time. Now, she is older than them, and she considered them to be like little brothers and little sisters or whatever. Coco also explained that, after being on the road, doing her shows, she liked to come back home to the real world. She said she do her thing and she leave. That, she not into the Hollywood thing. She pretty much enjoys kicking it with her friends. Coco also kind of goes in and explained that in 2017 she was diagnosed with bipolar depression, and it was kind of a dark time for her at one particular time. She kind of noticed and she realized that she needed to seek some help when she was having thoughts of unaliving people. And I would say shout out to you, because some people have those thoughts and they go and they ignore them and tragedy can strike. So shout out to her for that, because we are people of color. We tend to feel as though sometimes, some of us, feel that going to seek therapy or going to a counselor is a sign that you're crazy. And that's far, far from the truth. I mean, the way things are going in this world, I suggest any and everybody, whether you have something going on or not, maybe sometimes just sitting down venting and kind of getting some things off your chest is a good thing, because in the world we're living in, it is a lot going on. So shout out to her for even recognizing that. So they go on and they get to talking about other things. Coco even mentioned that, she's 52, but her private honey is like 21, and she is ready to be, loose. Loose as a goose. Don't get her started, honey. But anywho, in scene 3, we see where SWV is headed to Pittsburgh for a show. And I see what they are doing, and they are premiering and, displaying a lot where they're, out and about on tour. We seen where they went to Johannesburg. Now they're in Pittsburgh. So they are making motion and they are actually moving around. So in that next scene, we do see where Tamika is at home cooking, and Miss Gloria stops by. And I'm like, oh Lord, here we go. Here we go. But anywho, Tamika has cooked a meal for her mom, which is she cooked salmon. She said that is her mom's favorite. Miss Gloria enters, coming to the home, and she automatically and she immediately tells Tamika that, she hurt her feelings. She says she hurts her feelings and she wants to know what is going on. So Tamika, of course, go on and explain to her mom that she's never allowed to speak. She's never allowed to have a voice in no situation, because she feels as though, whenever she started trying to tell her side, her mom automatically cut her off and go in defense mode for Latasha, which we've seen it. We've witnessed it. So, but you could kind of tell this is something that has went on for years, because it's almost to the normal to Miss Gloria. And I think she doing it and she don't even realize she doing it. But anywho, Miss Gloria, lets Tamika know she feels as though, Tasha is, I guess, allowed to talk and allowed to speak because she's not disrespectful. But if Tamika ain't never allowed to say nothing, how you know she being disrespectful? Is it because she do tend to maybe raise her voice because she trying to get her point across and trying to talk over you and Tasha? I mean, I'm just trying to figure it out because as I stated, it just seemed like the last, encounter that they all had together, it was almost like an ambush, almost. So Tamika let her mom know that when it comes to Xscape, that mama, you not the fifth member. So when it's Xscape business, you have nothing to do with this. And baby, then we get to the real. Because Miss Gloria go ahead and let her know, first of all, I am the fifth member of Xscape when it comes to you and Latasha. Because pretty much when your daddy left, I was the fifth member. When we were struggling, I was the fifth member. I guess when the sun wasn't shining, I was the fifth member. So she let her know right then and there, honey. But look, all that I had to endure, I'm gonna always be the fifth member of that group. I'm gonna be the third member of your marriage and everything else. Miss Gloria just seemed like, one of them mamas that she want to be in control. And I think it's probably, and it seems as though maybe Latasha let her have that kind of control, whereas Tamika may be a little more boisterous when it comes to her and like her life. So Tamika said that you knew that Rocket was taking my money and you said nothing. And she wished that Miss Gloria would go as hard for her as she do for Latasha. And I can feel that. Like, I have 4 girls, and you have to balance it out because you never ever want the other one to feel as though you taking sides, showing favoritism, or none of that. And I can't even imagine sitting up here allowing or even telling my child that, oh, you just jealous of your other sister. What kind of foolishness is that? Now come on now. That's not cool. That ain't cool at all. And I guarantee doggone to you. Now I probably wouldn't have told her, yeah, Tamika, you go on down there to the police station and you press charges on Tasha. And I show, but me and Tasha would have had a discussion. And me and her husband showed, because as the mom that says she's the fifth member, something in a conversation should have been had. But I'm almost willing to bet Miss Gloria had got some of that $30,000. Because she looked like one of them ones that, yeah, you can go ahead and slide me some of that. Since you got it, slide me some of that. But anywho, Tamika, got very, very emotional. You could tell that there's a lot of pain from that. And to me, it looks as though Miss Gloria, and I think Tamika even wound up saying that, a lot of what Miss Gloria tend to elaborate on, and it almost feels like you are blaming Tamika maybe for the demise of your marriage, or she looked like her dad or close with her dad or have a relationship with her dad or something to that nature. So you tend to lash out at her due to whatever mishap you may have had with him, however it go. And I think Tamika later on said that, but it almost is coming to the light as to where so much of this frustration is coming from, because I just still I'm not understanding, as a mother, how would you want to or intentionally hurt your child in that way. But moving forward, Miss Gloria do apologize. They hug. She tells her that she loves her more than anything in the world. And I just really hope and pray that they do get it together. It just seems as though all 3 of them maybe need to go and speak to someone and, let the healing start, because that's a mother and 2 daughters. And, the way this world is, nothing is promised. Tomorrow is not promised. I just can't imagine going to sleep at night and having an issue or a problem with my child, my sister, or anybody, because tomorrow is not promised. And one thing for sure and 2 for certain, when someone take that last breath, you can't turn back the hands of time and apologize. You see what I'm saying? So, resolve them issues and tackle them head on. Now, moving forward, we do see where Candy and Kenyatta, which is her cousin, and Taj meet up at Candy's house. They are talking, and Taj kind of go over and tell her about her trip to Africa with the girls. Taj also goes up. She mentions that she met up with Tasha. That Tasha was in Nashville, and she pretty much let Candy know that Tasha let it be known that she is, thinking about pursuing a solo music career, and that was the reason she was in Nashville. Candy goes on to say that, of course, it just feels like a repeat from the last time, and Taj pretty much let her know, okay, even without her, the vision don't stop. It don't stop, and it don't, because as we know, as of now, they are touring and and performing. And as far as I think, and which yeah, most facts that she's not with them. So it went on. So then we move on to Lily and her son. They sit down. They sit down and they go have drinks and something to eat. Um, Her son is a aspiring rapper. She asks him, okay, what's your plans? What you got? What's your plans for the future? And she said in her confessional that pretty much her son is relying on her resources. She said, and pretty much she will help, but he need to put in the footwork, for that, because, she's saying that, she pretty much, she don't want him to be in the position that she found herself in when SWV, broke up or what have you. She went on to say that, after the group broke up, she was basically sleeping in her car. She explained how she would ride around New York for hours until it got maybe like 5 a.m. or something. She'll go park in Yankee Stadium parking lot to get some sleep. So, she go on and she said, she had really, really hit rock bottom. And she don't want that for her son. She wants him to be able to have a solid foundation as well as something to back up. And I don't blame her for that, because in a blink of an eye, things can change. As we see, since, the panorama happened, things can change and your world can turn upside down. That's why it's always good to have that plan B. It's always good to, have that strength to be able to attempt to open that door yourself. You see what I'm saying? You can't just rely. And if anything, these last couple of years have taught us, it should be that the more income you have, the better off you are. Multiple streams of income is the best income. You see what I'm saying? But anyways, moving forward, we also go on to scene 7, where she basically states that, oh yeah, and I'm sorry, Coco also says that she had gotten her GED, got her job, and now she's here. So she was able to pick up the pieces and kind of start and revamp her life, and thank God for that. So then we go on to see where Tasha's in the studio going over tracks. Rocky arrives there at the studio, and y'all, this was just so crazy, because I think I had seen somebody say this or something. I don't know if somebody had seen this in a preview or what have you, but pretty much he calls her anime. And I thought that was so, it was funny, but then it wasn't funny, because you really and truly on the cool, you act like a Ike. and because it's like he wreaked control. Like he wreaked, like, yeah, let me go over here and let my presence be known to make sure she ain't out of line. It's like he just seems so controlling to me, and I hate it. I don't like it. But anyways, Tasha told him that Candy had texted her about meeting up so they can kind of discuss, the things with the group. He said that also he know that the situation with the Tamika and Tasha situation is kind of affecting the group. He, he'll forgive her, but he just don't understand why his name was, ever brought up. He ain't stole no $30,000 in a hoot hoot. But we all know what the deal is, and maybe soon we'll see some receipts. But anywho, going on to the next scene, we see what Taj sit down to talk to her son. He tells her that he would like to quit dentistry school. He said he's no longer interested in it. He pretty much wants to go head first with the singing career, and Taj wasn't having it. And she like, oh, no, you're not. No, you're not. And she was like, and no, you're not, because I'm paying for it. And I guess she let it be known, look, as long as I'm taking care of you, nah, you ain't doing all that. And she lets him know that you ain't even went through the worst part yet, because you're gonna have to call your grandma, tell your grandma this is what you plan to do. So you could tell that his grandmother is a big part of his life. And of course, in the previous episode, we seen where they all sat down and talked, and the grandmother was like, boy, you don't know what you want to do. You 19 years old, you don't even know what you want to do. You might want to do this day and something else the next day. And that's very, very true. He's 19, he's still young, and singing may be something that you want to do, but how do you know that this is something that you ready for or gonna stick with? And by Taj being in the music industry, she lets him know that the music industry ain't just no walk in the park all the time. It ain't just you hitting the stage and XYZ. It can eat you up. And he said that he not letting nobody stop him from being happy. I know that's right, baby. These kids that you can't rub two pennies together without using yours. You be having a lot to say. So again, they called the grandmother, and she gets really emotional, and she said that we just need to talk about it, and you need to think about it. So then he came up with the conclusion and stated that maybe he'll take a year off and then get back into it after a year. And the grandmother was like, that sounds like a plan. Taj was like, hold up, you ain't give me that option. Now, we all know that grandmothers got a tender spot when it comes to those grandkids. So, baby, she understanding to him. And anything that he say, you can almost assure probably go. So moving on, we see where the girls are in SWV is in the studio rehearsing. Dan said that it's time for them to figure it all out. What are y'all playing? Are y'all going to come together with Xscape, or are we going to do it alone? It's wind it down. You have like right at a month. So Candy and Tiny is talking over the phone on their way to meet up with SWV. They kind of chopping it up. Once they arrive, they see where SWV is still rehearsing. And then, of course, the other ladies arrive as well. Tiny and Tasha kind of arrive at the same time. They embrace, say their hays, and however, they all and they all sit down and talk. Taj said that, she think it'll be a good idea if everyone is just on stage together. You have two, awesome groups from the 90s all on one stage doing it big, which I thought was a very good idea. I mean, come on. And she's like, everybody, this is what you want to do. Everybody put their hand in. So, of course, everybody put their hand in, but Tasha was a little slow to putting her hand in, and Candy looking like, oh, Lord, here we go. But eventually she kind of, I think she put her hand in. But anyway, Dan tells them all about the timeline, and they have about a month. Candy immediately says that she asks, who gonna be the headline? And again, Dan said that he felt like it should be like a co-headline where it's he feels that everyone should come together. Because of course, you got all of these ladies, you have two phenomenal groups. One gonna feel some type of way about the other in the event that, So the best thing to do is just come together, and it won't be all that confusion. But anyways, Candy goes on to say that she feels that they should be the headline. And Taj was like, what the hell? Like, what you mean? And then Taj said in her confessional, do you know who you talking to? She was like, no, ma'am. We sold over 30 million records. And yeah, you better put some respect on her name. All three of them in my Birdman voice. But anyways, Tiny said that in her confessional that SWV doesn't have the fan base nor the followers that Xscape does. Now, I could probably agree with that because, of course, we do know that SWV did take some time off, whereas you had Candy And Tiny, which was still pretty much kind of making motion, especially Candy. She's on the Atlanta Housewives. She's a part of Bravo. She has businesses there in Atlanta. Tiny is married to T.I., so she kind of stayed in, with some motion. So they do tend to have a little more fan base, but that you still can't discredit greatness of the other ladies. So again, I feel as though it should have been a co-headline thing, because that way it wouldn't be this big issue on who is who and what is what. So again, they kind of go back and forth. Taj says, so is it the big deal is because you feel that y'all should get paid more? And at that point, the girls at SWV kind of get up and was like, they over it. They was like, I done had enough of this shit. Taj go on to say that, yeah, they thought they sold 30 million records. They ain't headlining for nobody. Cause yeah, we that. We that. And pretty much the girls was like, it's the disrespect. And they said if they don't agree, then it just won't be no show. And that's pretty much where it ended. On that note, now again, we know that we know that Taj and Candy, as they said when they met up, that they kept in touch throughout the years, and they were kind of friends. So hopefully this won't start no hoorah. But as we've seen in the last couple of days, Taj just came on social media and said some things. Candy then kind of came on social media and she said some things. So, I just hope that this didn't or won't go nowhere with them, because they're all older. They're both phenomenal groups. They are, in the 90s, they was it. You see what I'm saying? And for them to even be able to sell out shows here in 2023 speaks volumes for both of them. And so I don't think that it should be a discredit for neither group. And y'all, I know, and y'all might bash me for this, I just think that Candy sometimes is a little bossy. And I just don't think that that was the time or the place to really discuss who the headline is. I think that this should have been a situation where, again, they both came together as one big stage, and let it be that. It's like, if anything, you the main one that probably don't need the money. You see what I'm saying? And not to say that the other women don't, is in a position they need the money, but as we know, which money is money, I guess. So, let me shut up. Who am I? But anywho, that was it, y'all. Another good episode. I can honestly say that I am loving the show. Bravo, you're doing it with this one. You're doing it with this one. You can almost cancel Atlanta Housewives for this. But anywho, great show. Let me know in the comments, how did y'all feel about this episode? How did you feel about Miss Gloria? And do you think the apology was genuine that she gave to Mika? How do you feel as far as her letting it be known, as far, or kind of hinting to what her real issue with Tamika is, as it relates to maybe her father? Let me know about who do you feel should be the headline, or do you feel that they should do a co-headline? Let me know how y'all feel down in the comments. Again, if you have not liked the video, please like the video on your way out. Please don't forget to subscribe to the channel. I'm on my way to 1,000. So please don't forget to subscribe to the channel. I promise you will not be disappointed. And turn on those notification bells so you'll be notified every time I decide to jump up here and make a video. Again, y'all, I appreciate each and every one of my speakers, my supporters. Thank you all. We are a family over here. And as soon as I get to my 1,000, I want to speak and hear from all of you. Share the platform. Again, if you ever have any stories that you would like for me to cover, or you like to share the platform, please feel free to email me. My email will be down in the description down below. And as I always say, everyone, please be blessed and good night. I love each and every one of you. Good night.